Rick was wrong to do what he did. Michonne, too. So we're gonna bide our time, wait for our moment, and then we're gonna show him.
Huh?
This moment in The Walking Dead Season 8 finale has a lot of fans wondering exactly how far will Maggie go to get revenge, and if she will be the next villain in The Walking Dead Season 9. A civil war in The Walking Dead type storyline. Now, the music in the scene clearly wants us to believe there's a bit of a storm coming, but it's likely just to get us fans talking, to get us hyped, and it's a touch misleading, but also hinting to the inevitable conflict between mainly Maggie and Rick, but also Daryl, Michonne, and possibly Jesus. Now, before we dive into the other two, Jesus is just hearing them out. I know a lot of people were saying, why would Jesus be there plotting against Rick and them because he was advocating for life? He's hearing them out. He's probably going to be a voice of reason while Maggie has this let's kill Negan plan on the back burner. So Jesus is a good piece to the puzzle, having him as Maggie's number 2 in the community, but also that bit of voice of reason throughout her plot. Now, there will be conflict, but it's just not the type that we're thinking of. It's not going to be the Civil War, or at least it shouldn't become the Civil War type conflict between these two characters. Maggie still loves them. She doesn't want to hurt them, she doesn't want to kill them, and she doesn't want to overthrow them. But she still disagrees. She wants to show them that they can thrive and kill Negan. Some fans find Daryl's mercy towards Dwight to be a little hypocritical, but you have to understand that Dwight was remorseful. Dwight and Negan are two very different creatures. Dwight even, in the end, risked his life to help the survivors, going back to the community where he knew it was just a matter of time before this blew up in his face. If they did not defeat Negan, Dwight was going to die, and die painfully at the hands of Negan. He put himself in that environment just to try to take Negan down and help the survivors get out of this bad situation. So again, the Dwight, Negan, very different. So based off of this scene and what we know from the comic book, what can we expect to come out of the storyline in Season 9? We already know there's going to be a time skip. And the plot to kill Negan and to show Rick and Michonne that they were wrong is likely going to be on the back burner. We're going to be reintroduced to the communities, and we will likely find out a little bit or get some type of idea of what Maggie is plotting, depending on how set up and established the communities are, and if she is ready or not to take out Negan and show Rick and Michonne that they were wrong. However, problems are going to arise with Gregory, the previous leader of the community, with Maggie, the current leader of the community. While we're being introduced to the communities all over again after this time skip, and they're setting up this other conflict, a very deadly conflict between Gregory, the snake little bitch that he is, and Maggie, they're also likely going to be giving Daryl some of Comic Carl's storyline, which could be very interesting because Comic Carl and Negan, Prisoner Negan, would have talks over the time skip, and in Negan's eyes, they were growing a bond and a friendship. And I can actually see this one scene in particular fitting Daryl perfectly. And before we get into that, you would ask, why would Daryl even bother going down to the prison? And if Daryl is in on this plot to take out Negan, he would likely want to get familiar with the area he's being held, the schedule at which they feed him or take him out to clean him up, essentially just keeping tabs on Negan. So that's Daryl's little spy mission. And for Negan, he's growing this friendship, companionship to Daryl because it's likely one of the only few people he talks to besides Rick. And in the comic book, it was Carl walking up the stairs. Negan asked him, hey, are we friends yet, or do you still want to kill me? And Carl bluntly, coldly tells him, yes, I still want to kill you. If I could, I would. That scene would perfectly fit Daryl, where Negan, this pathetic prisoner character at this moment, locked up for a few years, he's growing a friendship with one of the only people he gets to talk to, and he asks Daryl as Daryl's going up the steps, hey, has time healed some of the wounds? Are we kind of growing a little bond, a little friendship, or do you still want to kill me? And then Daryl looks back and he bluntly, coldly says, absolutely, Negan. You know I want to kill you. And if I get the chance, I'm gonna. Now, likely in season 9, the Gregory versus Maggie conflict is gonna blow up in such a way that one of them, Gregory, will end up dead because of it, and how he ends up dead could cause a rift again between Maggie and Rick, because it's going to have to deal with what they should do with Negan. Maggie has this problem, a very serious problem. Gregory wants to overthrow her. Maggie decides that shit is not happening, and there's only one thing left to do. Gregory's got to go. So the same solution now needs to apply to Negan. Maggie is all ready, whatever her plan is, to show them that they were wrong, and she's ready to put it into action. Rick, Maggie, Michonne, Daryl, they have a bit of conflict, and this is arising just at the time when we are introduced to the new real threat, the new real villain in season 9 called the Whisperers. And this will be likely the moment where Maggie yet again has to put that Negan plot on the back burner and handle the real threat. These sick and twisted freaks that are now coming for all the communities, and they aren't playing games. They make Negan look mild in comparison. They are territorial and animalistic, and as far as they're concerned, the communities are just simply in the wrong territory, and they all gotta go. So like I said, without getting into the specifics and the details, we don't know exactly what the story's going to be. Based off of the comic and what we know by that one little scene, I do strongly believe that it'll play out something similar to this. We have Maggie's plot with Negan on the back burner. Daryl might get some of comic Carl's scenes. And then Maggie has this confrontation with Gregory, which again puts some friction between her and Rick because of how she handles the situation. That escalates into something bigger between those two, but before it can really explode, the new villains, the new real threat shows up, and our friends put their little beef on hold or maybe squash it completely, and they band together because they are still friends. They do love each other, even though they do strongly disagree about this one particular decision, and they put that on hold and they go after the new threat and protect themselves and their communities against these twisted psycho freaks called the Whisperers. Obviously, these predictions might change when we get a little more information rolling in about Season 9, so stay tuned when that information rolls in. We are going to come out with some more defined and redefined prediction videos for you guys. And I want to hear your thoughts, theories, and opinions down in that comment box, because I'm done talking, so it's your turn.
Huh?